All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about views of three-dimensional objects. To do that, we're going to use isometric drawings, and these are drawings that shows a corner view of an object, okay? Not really right in front, just kind of off skewed to the side. We're going to do this on isometric dot paper, which is what we have in front of us here. These are just basically diamonds or dots put in diamond shapes, and they're really helpful in making cubes. So I want to make a cube real quick, and I'd like you to do this too. You may need to pause and practice this a little bit, but it is pretty easy once you get the hang of it. So I'm going to start with just connecting those and making my diamond. And my advice to you guys is always start at the top and you work your way down. And I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm going to say that's the top of my cube there. I'm going to draw the vertical lines down to that next layer and connect those together. Then I have a cube, okay? Now it's pretty easy to continue this in the downward direction. I could make tons of cubes and make a big tower, okay? But the second I try to go up, and you can kind of see this in green, that does not look right, this whole section. It's kind of like a cube that's been turned on its side, so always work down. And guys, mess around with this, draw some cubes. I mean, if that green wasn't there, and I can erase it real quick, and we can kind of look. I could take it out to the other side by doing this, and I could make like another shape like that. And you can keep extending it over and over again, okay? But the second you try to go up, it's gonna look funny. Now what we wanna do is recreate what we have right here in this picture, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and start by just making a cube, like a starting cube. I'm gonna say it's this cube right here, that back left corner, okay? Now I'm gonna extend this over and make a second cube attached to it. I lied to you guys, I'm making this cube right here. So what I have now, guys, is these two front cubes, okay? Now I can extend it out to the back, and I've recreated the picture. Now, guys, it's not supposed to be super easy. It's gonna take some trial and error. If you had trouble recreating that, and obviously I drew it really fast, you need to pause and try it out a little bit. I may leave a sheet on Tuesday, because I won't be here, so that you can kind of practice this, maybe draw some pictures, maybe get an easy grade out of it. But being able to draw these does not take much practice, so do your best. But remember, always start from the top and work down. Now, what we're gonna do today is we're gonna make orthographic drawings. This is basically like, if I'm looking at it directly from one side, I can draw a 2D figure that represents the three-dimensional figure as well. So what I want to look at is the top, left, right, and front views. And I want to make sure we know which views those are. Over here will be the left. So that means over here where we can't even see is the right. Obviously the top's going to be up here, and this side over here is the front. Now the nice thing about these is the left and the right are always mirror images of each other. The top and the bottom and the front and the back are mirror images as well. So once you get one, it's pretty easy to get the next. So let's go down, and here's kind of the main idea of the day. I want the top view. Well, I'm going to come up here, and I already kind of did it in red, but if I kind of color that in right there, it's basically just 4 squares. So my top view looks like that. I'm looking directly down from space on top of it. My side views, I have the left view. As you can see, if we look over here, those are shaded. That's just 2 squares. Even though I can't see the right side, I do know it's a mirror image, and you can kind of imagine what it's going to look like, but it's also just 2 squares. Then we have our front view. You can look up here. The front will be these right there. Well, again, it's just 2 squares. So it's really not tough. But you just got to be careful because it is easy to miss a square. And right now we're looking at basically solid figures. Sometimes there can be gaps, so be really careful when you look at these. Let's go to the next page. And guys, just so you know, I don't expect you to have this perfect. We're about to recreate this figure right here, and sometimes I have trouble and have to go back. So when you're doing this, be really careful. You might wait until I'm finished because who knows if I'll mess up or not, so we'll see. So basically, this is the same thing. We just have this extra block up here on the top. This is the left side, the shaded side. You have the front still, and you have the right. Now I'm going to try to redraw this, and occasionally you mess up. So I want to start from the top. So I'm just going to draw a cube. It's a good place to start. Oops, sorry. So there's my cube. And if you look really close, I mean, you can see kind of how the lines work from that. Like there's my cube right here. Now I need some lines that kind of go out to the side. So I'm going to go out this way. I'm going to make another cube. Kind of looks like it's below it, kind of like a step. Now I need to extend that out and make another. See, I kind of messed up a little bit there. I'm going to erase that if I can. Let's see, there we go. Sorry. And this is kind of tough. I haven't done this in a while, so it can be kind of hard. So I'm going to extend one side and kind of make like a pathway around it. If you can see, I mean, kind of follow what happens here. It kind of goes out here to the side, kind of goes around into one square. There's our next top, and then there's our third top. Now I just extend the lines down on each side and kind of connect them together. Now I have my figure. Now it takes some tries, guys, and I don't want y'all to be frustrated. Just draw some cubes and see what works. Eventually, I mean, I've done this a lot more than y'all have, and I still have trouble with it on occasion, so be patient. But these views, the views aren't really that bad. So we've got our side views, the left view and the right view. Well, if I look at those shaded ones, you might think, well, there's a gap here, so why would I show that? But if you're looking directly at the side, you may not even notice that there's space differentiating the three left blocks. So if I draw the left one, it's going to look like that, kind of like an L shape. The other side that I can't even see is going to be a mirror image of that and look like that. The top view is usually the easiest, but remember, you're looking directly from the top, so I can see that from the top and these three from the top. So basically, all you can see from the top are those four squares. Now the front view, and I'm going to mark this in color. I think it makes it easier. I know these two blocks are in the front, but I also can see that block. So again, it's kind of like an L shape and looks like that. Now, there's one other thing we can do, and we're going to start talking about volume later. Remember, if area is square units, so like we can calculate area of this front view, 1, 2, 3 square units. But we're going to start talking about volume, which is cubics. If I look up at this figure, I need to count how many cubes are in this figure. Well, I see one on top, and I have 1, 2, 3 around it, but that block doesn't float in midair. There's one below it. So it says how many cubes make up the figure represented. That would be 5, okay? Now, it takes a little practice, so do your best. Next one's pretty tough, kind of a staircase looking formation. But again, let's kind of start at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 2 squares to start off my top. Now, if you look, it goes down 1, 2, 3 units. 1, 2, 3 units. Then it goes forward 3 units. 1, 2, 3. It goes up 2 on the front. And now it kind of gets tough. You're going to have to kind of go up and over, and up. Now you have this skeleton, you can kind of finish it off. So I'm going to kind of start making my cubes here. And it's possible I'll mess up. I think that last line was a mistake. We'll see. I'm going to come down and go ahead and make that and come across. I've got my top set of steps. Come down, go across. Oh, messed up there too. Let's see here. Maybe I need to go up here and over and across. Ah, there it is. And then close it off like this. So again, guys, it takes a little practice, but once you do, it gets a little bit easier. So now I've got my little staircase. And again, we have the left side. I'll mark it on this one, sorry. We've got the front and we've got the right side. Let's go down and draw our isometric views. Now, our side view, of course, we've got the left side and the right side. The left side, if I look, it's just those shaded blocks. So it looks like I have 3 squares, then 2 squares, then 1 square, kind of all put together. So I'm going to draw kind of a step ladder looking formation. And guys, I know I'm not drawing perfect cubes, and I don't expect you to. But it's really about the right number of squares. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Then basically for the right side, just reflect it. And we have the same basic drawing. Now the top view, I want to come over here and look at this. I'm going to color these in blue. Those 2 are tops, those 2, and those 2. Now these right here, you can't see them if you're looking directly above it, so those aren't in there. So basically, for the top view, it's just 6 squares, just like that. Now the front view, These two are in the front, these two are in the front, and these two are in the front. So there's 6 squares, but if we're looking at it from 2D perspective, they're all connected together a lot like the top view is. Now this one gets a little more complicated in counting the cubes. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one side. There's 2 sides, so my answer would be 12. Now let's go to the back page. This is a little bit different. You're kind of work backwards. A foundation drawing is a diagram of a foundation showing the height of each area. So if I look at this, it wants me to match which of these 3D figures is given from this foundation drawing. Well, I know I'm going to have kind of this shape of an F, and I know in these spaces, it's only 1 unit high, but right here, there's going to be 2 cubes. So let's look down here. The first one, it has the right shape, but it looks like our 2 blocks should be in between the 1 blocks. Right here, this one shifted over 1. It looks like they put the 2 here instead of where it should be. So that one's not going to work. This next one doesn't even have the same shape. It looks like they put a block here instead of here. So that one's not going to work. But on the last one, I have a nice F shape. And on that second from the top, I have a bigger cube. That will be my answer. Now, guys, I want you to play around. I might leave you a little assignment on this paper. I want you to be good at drawing cubes. I don't expect it to just be perfect, but you need to give it a shot. And this is all about perspective. You just need to be careful. And when you're writing the left, right, top and bottom views, and it should be all right. So, guys, good luck, and I will see you on Wednesday.